Hey YouTube, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to this week's Top 3 Tuesday, baby. You gotta dance it like that and everything. Yeah, baby. Subscribe to my dancing channel. Sorry, I'm getting stranger and stranger, aren't I? As my confidence builds, speaking to potentially millions of people. Just putting it out there like, my head's starting to go, I think. So we're going to do I can't believe I've hardly spoke about this console on my channel, okay? We're going to talk about my top 3 Sega Master System games. Now, the Sega Master System was my first games console. It wasn't my first games machine or PC or computer that I owned. My first console was the Toshiba MSX cassettes. If I can reach them. Yeah, so games used to come on cassette tapes like that, believe it or not. Then I had the Commodore 64. It's mad to think that games used to run on a cassette tape, you know. It's involves a lot of loading. You think the Sega Saturn's slow for loading. Try a Commodore 64 for loading, or the Amstrad, or any of the old. If you're a retro gamer, you're a hardcore retro gamer. If you play those consoles, trust me. Then I obviously Commodore 64. Then my first console was the Sega Master System. I've got clear memories, a lovely memory of. I think it was Dixon's used to be a store. It was owned by Curry's. It ended up working for Curry's. They had a Sega Master System with a particular game, which I'm not going to do any spoilers. They had a particular game in there which you could play, and I just fell in love with it. And it must have been coming up to Christmas, because my parents were like, had to almost drag me out to the shop. I was only 7 or 8 or something like that. I was having so much fun playing this game, and I just couldn't believe how fast it was, you know. I was just literally used to turn it on and boom, the cartridge is good to go, you know. This is my first games console I had. A lot of people had a Sega Master System. A lot of my friends group, obviously, a lot of people had the Nintendo. I'm thinking of picking up a Nintendo, actually. I know we're talking about the Master System, but I was talking to my mate over the weekend about... he bought... I can't remember what he bought. That helicopter game. He bought a game for the NES. Let me know in the comments, Chris, what... I can't remember what it's called. That game you picked up on the weekend. And I was thinking, do you know what? There's so many games I haven't experienced on the Nintendo. I've played a lot of... Mario Bros 3 and Mario Bros 1. Played a little bit of Mike Tyson Punch-Out, but yeah, I think it's a underrated console. But anyway, getting back to the Master System, I always look, whenever I go to CEX or Retrostash, Super Tomato, I always make sure I check out the Sega Master System collection, yeah? So I will add as well, I've got a couple of games, you can still see them. I haven't actually... I've been rearranging my games in my games room, right? I haven't actually found a home for them yet. But those games there, I didn't grow up with, okay? So it's not fair. This is games I grew up with. To qualify, I either had to own it, and every single one of the games that I owned growing up, I didn't trade any of them in, didn't sell any. I've still got my original games. They'll always have a special place in my heart. And some of the games I've over the last couple of years bought, and but I played them. You know, there was a lot back in the day of swapping games with your mates for a couple of weeks, you know, because they were like 30, 40 quid in the 80s. Do you know what I mean? So it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money now, you know. So anyway, we'll start off with the first ever physical game I had in my collection, and it's it is the worst game I'm going to talk about today, all right? And that is Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, okay? I do remember arguing with a boy in my class. Oh, as you can see, I've still got that's my mother's right in there. Still got the manual. I've even got, God alive, this is going to be a bloody trip down memory lane. Who remembers these? Used to come with these like fold out. This is how we used to pick what games we wanted. So Sega Games Catalogue. So basically it's just an opens up. Oh, I might have to frame one of these, you know. Oh, it brings back some memories. Like, for example, I remember asking for Ghouls and Ghosts. My nan was going to London, and my grandfather going to London. They said, oh, do you want us to pick you up anything? So I said, yeah, can you pick me up Ghouls and Ghosts? Not expecting them. Oh, it breaks my heart thinking of them going into a game shop and asking for Ghouls and Ghosts. Oh, I'm getting upset now. But that's how we used to do our shopping back in the day. There's no internet or anything like that. Oh, my God. Even more. Look. I didn't even know it. I'm getting upset now. It's so nostalgic. I ticked the games I wanted, look. Ticked. Or was it ticked the games? Rambo I wanted. Can you see the text? Oh, no. This is so nostalgic. Kung Fu Kid I wanted. I wanted Teddy Boy. Oh, my actual God. Transport. Shoplifter. Oh, my God. Yeah, so that's how we used to buy games. But yeah, the reason I opened that wasn't really, that was a nice little surprise. All my games I had growing up as well are all complete in box, okay? We looked after our things in our house. You know, it's going to have a little bit of wear and tear and suspicious stains. I don't know where they are. It was a shit game, trust me. But if you notice, that's white, okay? Now, I had this for me and my brother. It was a joint Christmas present. We used to have our own presents. Then our big present was joint. So the Commodore 64 was joint, shared. Always ended up in my bedroom, by the way. And the Master System, joint, shared, ended up in my bedroom. And, yeah, that's what I was talking about. Yeah, so the game cartridge. I went about 6 months. And then I started borrowing games of other people. Right, I will say, Castle Illusion, I didn't grow up with it. That's why there's no manual. But that's what the majority of the cartridges looked like. They had this, like, square grid thing, and it was like this burgundy colour. I didn't know. So the first game I ever lent someone was... I lent it to someone... I remember it was Transport. I won't say the guy's name. I lent it to this guy, and he opened the cartridge. Oh, it's white. They're not all white. I opened his cartridge. They're not all burgundy. I didn't know what that colour was called back then. I was like, no, they're all white. And we were both adamant because he had one game. I had one physical game, okay? It had a big game built in as well. I had the Master System 2 I will add as well, okay? So we argued. It turns out I was wrong, but I didn't know any different. But there are some games that for some reason came with a white cartridge. I have no idea. If anyone knows why, let me know in the comments. Remember US Gold? Anyway, get back to the actual game. Again, it's so like, it breaks your heart. It's like my parents would have gone into the shop, whatever shop. They probably went to Dixon's, where they had to like almost phone the police to get me out of the shop, right? I wasn't a bad kid, honest. My father was a policeman at one point. Yeah, anyway, sorry, again, sidetrack now. My head's going all over the place. It breaks my heart. Like, we loved Indiana Jones. This was massive back in the day. So they probably, they were recommended it. So fuck you, for sales guy recommended that game for us to have. But I just like to think my father would have gone, oh yeah, we watched Indiana Jones. Because another thing, we used to go to the video shop. That was one of my favourite memories growing up as a kid, was going to the video shop every Saturday. The reason we went on the Saturday, obviously we're off school, but they was closed on the Sunday, so you can keep the video all day Sunday. It has to go back by the end of business on the Monday. Anyway, go back. Sorry, so many the memories are just starting to flood in now I started talking about it. Well, this game is terrible. We never got past level 2, but one of my friends came down who we actually bought another game off him. He was very good at video games. I think his advantage was his father was into video games. So an adult, you know, they're more intelligent, aren't they? So he knew, like, basically level 1 is that there. So you go in through the caves, you got a whip. You got a gun. I think you're going to use your things so many times. But, like, you die if you fall off a ledge. You'd have to jump onto a rope and climb down. It didn't know what it wanted to be. Then the second level was on a train. And you have to jump over these animals. No, it's like in the movie, like the giraffe's heads. And you have to jump over, and the giraffe's heads are going up and down for some reason like that. And yeah, it was really, really hard game, that was. But I got good memories of it. But I'll have to play it again to see how I fare, you know. Put myself through more torture. Right, this game I didn't own growing up, but I've recently picked this up. I can't remember who had it, or I do remember, but I don't want to mention him on the channel because he's a bit of a fucking knob. You know, you don't know when you're growing up with, isn't it? But I remember the graphics were the star of the show here, and it was really hard game as well. But anything Disney, Mickey Mouse, yeah, we're all over that stuff growing up, you know. So yes, I got good memories of that. Now this game I bought off my friend. Again, complete in box, okay, is Michael Jackson's Moonwalker. Never finished it. There's not many of the games in my collection, right, that I actually finished when it comes to the Master System. But it was so cool. Michael Jackson, kids now don't understand. He was the king. Me and my brother had a Michael Jackson jumper. It was my favourite jumper. I remember it was blue. And it had like Michael Jackson's face on it. And I just loved wearing it. I mean, the stuff we were into back then. The movie, I loved the Moonwalker, the movie. But I used to struggle to watch it because there's a scene in it when the guy spins a globe. And on the other side's loads of massive like tarantulas. Oh, it gives me the creeps even thinking about it. But I was talking to, about 10 years ago, to this guy I used to work with. I said, yeah, have you seen Michael Jackson Moonwalker? He was a lot younger than me, this guy was. He was a movie. And I said, yeah, he gets chased by the police down this dark alley. And he goes all silver, like metallic-y. And he was a car. Then he just turns into like a spaceship. He's like, you're lying. He didn't believe that. And you think how far-fetched. You don't make films like this anymore, basically. But yeah, I really enjoyed that. My mate lent it to me. And then I think he was having a new console, so he asked, do you want to buy any of my games? I remember we bought it off him for £7. We begged and begged and begged my father. Please, Dad, please, £7. Yeah, we thoroughly enjoyed that. Another game then that, again, is from back in the day. Yeah, like I still got that game catalogue in there. Is Tasmania. This was a big deal back in the day. He was on the cover of all the Sega magazines, mainly the Mega Drive version. But this was one of the first games I ever completed. It was a very easy game. I played this about 3 months ago, something like that. Oh, am I on about 3 months ago? I hadn't long had bought the house, so almost a year ago now. Oh my God, time is flying. Yeah, it's a good fun game, you know. It's not as easy as I remember. Obviously, I play a game to death back in the day. You know, you haven't got the fucking backlog. There's no such thing as a backlog back in the day. You know, you played a game until you literally couldn't get any further. You didn't know, you didn't possess the skills, you know. Yeah, it's a good game. Enjoyed that. This was, I remember this, was Sonic the Hedgehog 2. This game is harder. It's the worst Sonic. I didn't play the pinball ones or spinball, but I was so excited to have this. But in my opinion, Sonic 1 is miles better than this. And what I remember about this, right? My parents, again, it's got the manual and that catalogue in there. Yeah, I'm definitely going to see if I can find a frame and put it up, you know. Not the one with the text. That upsets me because my grandparents. The thought of them going... Anyway, getting back to this. What this reminds me of... Again, all these memories are just coming back. I had this for Christmas. But I knew where my parents hid our Christmas presents, right? And I didn't used to wrap them till the day... Christmas Eve or the day before Christmas Eve. So... What I used to do was used to sneak in and have a look. I knew it all the time. I remember seeing a boglin. Remember those boglin things, like puppet things? I had one of them, and this was one of the presents I had. And I played this a ton. So the month of December, I'd almost finished it. And then, like, my mum came in once, and this was just on the counter. I wasn't intelligent enough to like, put this back, just take the cartridge or whatever. I wasn't clever enough. You know, I wasn't a criminal, or, you know, it was a big deal, like, playing the fucking Christmas present early. Yeah, and I remember then, my mother came in, this was just literally on the counter there, she came into the bedroom, and, "Oh, what are you playing?" And I was like, "Oh, Sonic 1. And she just didn't notice. Fuck, I would have been in so much trouble. But then my brother then, on Christmas Day, "Yeah, let's go play it." We had another game, I can't remember what the other game was. It might have been Tasmania. I wanted to play the other game, of course, because I played fucker of this. But no, let's play Sonic, because Sonic was the hype, wasn't it, back then? And even back then, I must have realised it's not that good a game. So he was really excited, and then he was like, "You're good at this game, aren't you?" Like, I was better at this than I was at Sonic 1. But again, I've never told anyone, because I forgot about it until now, you know. My mum, sorry, she doesn't know what YouTube is. So, sorry, mum, if you ever watch it, but that's what I did with that. Okay, then we've got, before we get to my top 3, these I'd say are honourable mentions, okay? So just missed out on the top 3. I can't remember who had it, but Golden Axe. This was a big deal back in the day. I mostly played this on the Commodore 64. I remember the Commodore 64. It had like, instead of coming in the cassettes, like I showed you earlier on, it came in like a big box, PC game box, you know, like a cardboard box. It had the big manual and everything like that. Because some special games on the Commodore 64 came like that. And someone lent me this, but I think this was towards the end of my time with the Master System. I think I was lucky. I didn't need to sell my games to go buy new ones, or I didn't realise it was a thing or something. I'm really happy I didn't just sell them all, because maybe I would have back then, you know, because I went the Super Nintendo route after the Master System route, the jump chip I did. But yeah, I borrowed it, and I think the guy wanted to sell it to me. It might have even been when I was in comprehensive school, first or second year, you know, or today's money, that's year 7 or year 8. But yeah, it was good, but I would have loved it back in the day. It's probably ticked off on my games I wanted on my thing. Okay, another honourable mention, Sonic 1. This is one of the first games we had. Oh, hey, 2 things. No manual. Where the fuck's that gone? But, oh my god, the nostalgia's flooding back to me now. This, right, is a cutout of a magazine, okay? I'll get to what it is when we talk about the game, because it's actually my second favourite game of all time for it, right? So I'm interested. I don't know where the fuck a manual's gone for that. Anyway, it's got, you can see, got my scruffy writing on the back, Anthony. I played this game a ton. People used to come down, my mates used to come down, call for me. Do you want to go at the back and play, or do you want to play football? Nah, just put the Master System on. What do you want to play? Sonic was the game they'd always asked for. I think this wasn't made by the same people that did Sonic on the Mega Drive, but everyone was talking about it, and it did not let me down. I'm looking at the back, that jungle, so it was Green Hill Zone. I remember it was Bridge. The bridge was Zone 2 of the jungle. It took us months to get to the jungle. We'd always have like 1 life left. We got there, then obviously you get better and better. You know, you learn where there's quite a few secrets where you get an extra life, and what are they called? The Chaos Emeralds. You get 100 rings, you get an extra life. So you get better and better. I used to play this every single day, right? I'm talking months and months. Right, I got to jungle. Then it was Jungle World 2 where you got to go up, and if you fall back down, if there isn't a platform, if the camera's gone past the platform, you're dead. Even if it's a millimetre over, you're still dead. But I remember you fight Dr. Robotnik, or whatever he's called these days, Dr. Robotnik back then, on this vine. And the thing is, when you fight the final boss in this game, you don't get any rings. So at 1 hit, you're dead. And I remember you had to jump these, he drops bombs down this vine, and they're moving. So you got to hit him at the right time and dodge the bombs, right? And you're like in the zone, right? And it was so hard. I remember the first time we done it, and my brother was there. My cousin might have been over as well. He was like, "Yes, you done it." And all you had to do is jump from this vine onto this ledge, and he'd done the game, he'd done the level, you know, and we never saw past that level. I think it was Labyrinth after it. I'm like, yeah, we're all like, yeah, brilliant. And I went from the vine, and I didn't press, in my head, I pressed jump, but obviously, either it didn't register, or more likely what happened, I didn't press it quick enough, and I just flopped down. And it was like, it was my last life as well. It was like, no. Oh, it was funny looking back, but I remember the emotion. Video games used to, still to this day, isn't it? But I couldn't believe it. It's a funny story, you know. But yeah, looking back at that, that's what memory came back, you know. Another honourable mention, or my final honourable mention then, is California Games. At first, I think I didn't have it. Someone lent me this, right? I wasn't a fan. I wasn't really a fan of sports games. Today, I'm not really a fan of sports games, right? But I was really into my bodyboarding I was into at the time. So anything surfing was cool as hell, right? I got really good at it. I think it's a 6 is the highest score you can get, and I got 3 6s. I actually remember one of the only games I read the manual. I thought, well, I'm going along, I'm getting like 3s. I'm not having any wipeouts or anything like that. And I read it's like you get points for the closer you are. So if you want to be in the barrel, so I used to like do an air. I remember clearly, so come down, be in the back of the barrel, come down, up, do an air 360, back down and back in, and keep doing that. So you're getting the points for the airs, bigger airs, you're going faster and faster and faster. And I was the don when it came to surfing on that game. Everything else, I was shit at, but I didn't care. But yeah, that's an honourable mention as well. That might have been high if I owned that back in the day, you know. Okay, so my first honourable mention then is actually Sonic the Hedgehog Chaos. This is the only Sonic game I finished on the Master System, okay? Considered the easiest game. It's the first game where you can actually play as Tails as well. Like, Tails is in Sonic 2. I think in the Mega Drive you could play as him. That was the big progression. That was the big deal back then. But he was kind of just another character, if my memory serves. But I loved the... Like, if you see there, that top picture, Sonic puts these special boots on and he can just fly. It's a very easy game. If you get stuck on a level, you can swap to Tails and just fly through the whole fucking level till the end. The bosses are pretty... as soon as you figured out the boss pattern, very, very easy. But it had that replayability. It's like, oh, I played it with Sonic, now I'll just stick with Tails. Or I think the first time I finished it, I probably did most of it with Tails. But yeah, really good fun game that is. Pick it up if you're into your Master System. Right, the number 2 then. I don't own a physical because it was built in. Now this is the game I was talking about where my parents like had to phone the army to get me out to Dixon's, right? It's Sonic. Let's do that again. Russell, cut that out, please. Big time now, got an editor. Yeah, so Alex Kidd in Miracle World. Obviously, if you didn't know, this got re-released on the PlayStation 4. This is the reversible cover, okay? I love the fact it came with one of those manuals. Got a little key ring as well, but it's a reversible cover as well, right? I love the fact, loads of things. Even the disc is done up like the cartridge. This is a remake or remaster done right. You can as well swap between the graphics. You can play as the nostalgia graphics or the better improved HD graphics. And the music changes as well, if memory serves, okay? And you can put infinite lives. So if I got to one of the enchanted castles in it, but because when I had it for the first at least 6 months or even 12 months might have been, the 2 games I had was this and that fucking Indiana Jones. So this got all the attention. I remember my cousin came over from South Africa, not just to play there. Maybe he did come over just to play Alex Kidd, you know. But I remember that Christmas, we were always playing it. We would play... He'd come over and he'd just come straight up, so he knew I'd be in the bedroom playing it, and we would try to beat each other's score, who got the further. Then it was arguing what's better. I got a higher score than you, but then I might bet I got further than you. But like we were getting like baby steps, getting tiny bit further all the time. Then it was right, pass the controller back, because I saw my cousin, he did it this way and he got further. Really good way to progress in games. You know, not co-op, but couch playing with your your cousin, you know. Yeah, so that was a fantastic game growing up. And the thing I said I'd talk about in a bit was some of the bosses, it's, I'm not sure what it's called, but over here it's called rock, paper, scissors. So in the second level, you fight a guy who's a hand, and there's another guy who's a fist, there's another guy who's, it's paper, scissors, and fist, so rock, paper, scissors, and you play them in rock, paper, scissors. And this is from a games magazine back in the day. I don't know if it's going to focus on that, but it basically tells you first match, stone then scissors, second match, scissors then paper. Because we didn't realise every time you play it's the same order, but we didn't know that. So we were dying loads of times there and getting game overs. And it also tells you about, there's a cheat, level 1. Oh yeah, loads of cheats and stuff, yeah. So I kept that. It's funny that survived in the Sonic, you know. Okay, on to my number 1 favourite game for the Sega Master System. Oh, what a game. I did briefly talk about it. It's just got all kinds of nostalgia. It's Ghouls and Ghosts, okay? It gets loads of brownie points because my grandparents bought it. It does pull on the heartstrings, the thought of them. They're in London. I can't remember what they were in London for. I think they went to see a show or something like that. Them looking for somewhere that would sell video games, and then and I remember as well, I was either my school was closed, I was still in primary school, I think my brother was in secondary school, so at my school had like an inset day, so I was staying at my auntie's that day, so I took the Master System, and my nan gave me that, and she said, oh, why did you wait for your brother now to come home from school to play it together, so don't play this. Yeah, okay, nan. I think I lasted 3 minutes before if that. And I played it and played it. Again, they don't know. Your parents and grandparents, they didn't know what the fuck you were doing. Do you know what I mean? I played fuck out of it. Again, my brother comes back, take it out, put it back in the box, put Sonic back on. Oh, hey, let's play this game. Again, he's like, you're good at this, aren't you? But I've been playing it for like 5 hours straight or something, you know? But the interesting thing with this game, if you didn't know, you've got to complete the story, and then you get right to the end, and it says you're not strong enough to face the final boss. You've got to go right back to the beginning. Everyone's, oh, that's cheap. But you keep all your armour and stuff like that. So you're ridiculously overpowered, zooming through. And I loved it. And the other thing as well, my friend used to come down and play, one of my friends used to come down and play video games, whose father used to play. We could never get past first, second. I think the third level, we always used to die. This is the first time we realised what farming was. He said, no, what you got to do... No, I think it was the third level. Because if you didn't know, like when you hit the treasure chest, basically level up your character. So you got the silver armour. Every time your armour goes stronger, then it's the green armour. Or then to get the gold armour, you get extra lives or extra hearts. And you get more powerful weapons and stuff like that. So he basically said, because you can die as many times as you want, and when you continue from where you left off, you know? You don't have to collect continues or anything. So you'd spend about 20 minutes just doing that, dying on purpose, go back to the beginning of the level, get so far, dying, back, then all of a sudden, it's a piece of piss then to get through the rest of the game. But yeah, I got so many good memories of this game, you know? Thank God it's complete inbox. I'm never gonna sell this game, you know. 5 rounds, yeah. It's a hard game, but the way my mate showed me how to play it, yeah, we got our money's worth out of this game as well. You know, we played this game to death. I don't think my brother was such a big fan on it. He just wanted to see all the levels. Once he'd seen all the levels, you go back to the beginning. You go back to doing whatever he was doing, you know. But yeah, I'm going to play this again once I finished Round the World of 80 Fighting Games. Yeah, I'm going to get stuck into this again. There we are. Yeah, we are. So I'll going to leave it there. Thank you very much for watching, and that really was a trip down memory lane, okay? Please do click that subscribe button. Yeah, thank you very much for watching. Love you. Bye.